Since part one of the tell-all aired of Before the 90 Days, a lot of people have not been a fan of Emma. And in the same conversation, a lot of people have not been a fan of Laura. So because of this, people have definitely let their feelings be known. There has been multiple threads literally talking about Emma and talking about Laura. So we're going to begin this one here with Emma. And let's dive into how she's made people feel with her current behavior on the tell-all. Now, first thing you see here is that she is so unlikable. That's not good. As you can see, someone said, watching the tell-all and I'm amazed at how hard everyone is on Zaid. Now, I did say to everybody that on Monday, when I obviously did my reaction, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. And I made it abundantly clear that I felt sorry for Zaid. It was very clear that everybody there was there to ambush him. But he done a great job holding his own. He stayed true to himself no matter what. And that's one thing that we can say that he's done well throughout the season. Staying true to himself. Whilst Emma, well, a lot of secrets and lies have come out. But as you can see, someone says here that he was very cold with Emma. But it's probably because he could sense her looseness, her lying, turned off by her meeting with his friends. Who meets a person first time and presses them for a proposal? Emma. I can't stand this girl and her wig. I hope she is perpetuating this villain trope on purpose. I mean, listen. I'm pretty sure a lot of us hope that she's doing all of this madness purely to just be on the show. But if you ask me, I believe that this is just generally who she is as a person. I don't believe that she's forcing this character that she has shown us. This is who she is. She's made it clear that she's somebody that when she's single, and even when she's not single, if she wants to go out there and find another man, she'll go out there and find another man. Hell, we even saw her at the tell-all flirting with Forrest. She says that she was kidding, but she literally sat there and said that if I was in a room and I was there ready, presenting myself for Forrest, he wouldn't turn me down. And that's how confident she is in her own abilities and her own appearance. Wow. That she's even somebody who would be more than willing to sleep with a man that's already taken, or at least, and this is where it's really bad, or at least try and tempt a man that is already taken to sleep with her. They have a name for somebody like her, don't they? What's that name? Let me know in the comments. I want to know. I mean, I know what it is, but I don't know what name it is. What's the name for a woman, or even just a human being in general, that likes to tempt people that are already in relationships to be with them? Give me your thoughts on that one. Let me know what name that is. But now we're going to move on to the other article, the other thread regarding yourself. This person came out and said, Emma, you are disgusting. You know when people really let it be known how they feel and they're like, simple. You are disgusting. Because there's such venom. But as you can see, this person said, her flirting with Forrest made me so mad, so disrespectful, so selfish, so bitchy. And I'm going to add one here. So moving mad. We continue where this person says, my jaw was on the floor the whole time. She played on his autism. She treated him like a child. Her throuple, air kiss. How much do you love me? I wish I was there to tell her, shut the F up. I promise you now, there was a lot of us who was there to tell her to shut the F up. But unfortunately, we wasn't there. We can only do it to our TV screens. But let me know though, how many of you felt the same way? This person continued by saying that she was clearly making him uncomfortable. Just keep going, thinking she's so hot that she could break him. Forrest and Sheena lost their virginity to each other. Allegedly. They have something special, and Emma fantasizing she can make him admit he would want her instead. You see what I mean? What's the name of the type of person that will walk into a healthy relationship and try and take a man away or a woman away from a healthy relationship? And to be fair, it has been said, it has been notoriously said that there are some women out there that when they see a man who is loyal to his woman, loyal to his kids, somebody who represents every trait of a family man, some women believe that that man is a keeper. So do you know what they'll do? And don't get me wrong, he is a keeper. My apologies. They don't believe. They know he's a keeper. But because they know he's a keeper, you know what they do? They say, nah, I gotta have him. I'm out here trying to find all these single men, but all these single men for some reason aren't keepers. They don't want me for whatever reasons. So how about I take a man that's already shown me that he has that ability? That's why sometimes when you go on a date with a woman for the first time, and you tell them that you've had a long-term relationship before, they're like, so you like long-term relationships? Oh, so you're able to just be with that one person? Oh, okay, I like that. I like that. You know, I mean, it's. I'm sorry to hear about what happened with that one, but I like that. You know what I mean? But obviously, if you say to a woman, hey, nah, I have never really been in a relationship, man, they're like, oh, And don't get me wrong, it's the same thing vice versa of a man. You know, if a man's obviously dating a woman, I'll say if a man's going to think about this, it's usually if he comes across a woman that is 35 and above or something like that, maybe even 30 and above, they will ask the question, have you ever been engaged before? Have you ever been married before? Have you ever been in a long-term relationship before? And to be fair, it is good to know these things, but the point is that there are some women out there that will prey on a man that is currently actually in a committed relationship. They would try and get him to be theirs because they believe that that man will give them the same type of relationship. But here's the thing though, if you take a man from a relationship that's secure, and he's more than happy to have an affair or leave his woman for you, understand he's going to do it to you too. Hell, you may even do it to him at one point if you get bored. Either way, the strategy is just a hot mess. But hey, Emma's definitely one of those people, is one of those people that's definitely giving people that vibe. But we continue here where this person continues by saying, if he actually was interested to her, she would not reciprocate, okay? It really made me so mad. And then put Sheena on the spot. Poor Sheena, I love you too. It literally made me sick to my stomach to see her be such a bully. How did no one call her out? Now that is the killer question. Nobody called her out for BS because they were too busy doing what? They were too busy ambushing your boy Zayed, sorry. You know what I mean? And you know what's so crazy? Of course, Rick was the one that was more than happy to, be okay with Emma's actions. And let's be real, because Emma and Rick are literally the same person. I wouldn't be surprised if Rick was trying to, obviously, get a little bit freaky with Emma. And to be fair, she probably would let him anyway, because the girl has clearly made herself known that she has no standards. She has no morals. As long as a man's willing to give her a time of day, she's more than happy to just go, take me. Each is of their own, ladies and gentlemen, each is of their own. Now we continue here also by saying she wanted to make sure she could get as much time on camera. So she kept dragging it out, making him more uncomfortable. Do you have a brother? Do you have a dad? I mean, listen, where is the lie? Where is the lie? I hate her, and so does her sister apparently, but that appears to be a whole different story. And to be fair, it does feel like because her sister was more than happy to expose the fact that Emma had worse 100, that Emma was actually sleeping with the guys prior to meeting Zayed, but while actually meeting Zayed with the intention of wanting to marry him and have a kid with him. But yet she was dating and sleeping with other men. The calamity. But let's see what's going on with this little comment here. She is a total CUNT for that. Seriously. It's like she was thinking, look at me being extra nice to this guy who's slow. He probably thinks I'm so beautiful and is excited to talk to me. Like, she made him so uncomfortable. Nothing cute or fun about making someone feel uncomfortable on purpose for laughs at her expense. Just totally laced with heavy condensation. I can't say the bloody word, but you can read it. It's like watching the mean girl in high school tell the nerd that they like their outfit when they really don't. I mean, listen, mean girls this, mean girls that, you know what I mean? And it is, listen, I'm enjoying that people have now finally woken up. I'm enjoying the fact that people are seeing this, because boy, but most importantly, I hope the cast members can see this. But also, last but not least, when it comes to Emma, people also have come out to say, Zayed, the hero we don't deserve, okay? Purely because.
You go yourself. Also, change your wig. It smells like.
Oh my God. His feelings are hurt.
Let me play that again. Sorry, the volume was low on that. Hold on, let me do that again. I've upped the volume, so hopefully it should be better. My apologies.
On his behalf, I apologize.
You go yourself. Also, change your wig. It smells like.
Oh, my guy's letting it be known. As you can see here, this guy is but he's out here fighting and taking down the people who deserve to be humbled. He asked Elise a question, and Emma thinks she's doing something there by saying she's apologizing on his behalf. But Zayed had something to say about that. Shots fired at Rick and now taking down Emma with his weak comment. That was a petty gesture, but so satisfying to watch. Absolutely satisfying, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not mess about. And let's be real. End of the day, Rick is the one that started it on Zayed. He's the one that called him a fake Muslim, which I ain't saying he's lying, but in return, Zayed said, well, you're a fake dad. Which, to be fair, could be true too. Okay? But nonetheless, though, that is all the madness that has gone down when it comes to Emma. But now we're going to get into the madness that is happening when it comes to Laura. Oh my days. This one is absolutely bonkers. Whew, this one's going to be a good warm-up before I head to the gym today. I'll tell you this now. But let's get into this one because, God, little damn. So as we can see here, Laura doesn't seem like a happy, engaged woman. Ooh, let's dive in. Wow, Laura. She's always been a little judgmental and a low-key mean girl, and now she seems so miserable. The dress, lipstick don't suit her. Her obvious weight gain doesn't scream happy. I don't know where she gets off with her though I don't know what that means, to be fair with you. Let me know, please. Attitude and her treatment of Michael, of other Michael and cast members and castmates, okay, which was uncalled for. Seems being engaged has made her feel entitled and made her really bossy. People get engaged every day, Laura. It doesn't make them better it doesn't make them better than anyone else. And to be fair, she probably is that kind of person who's like, well, somebody finally wants me. Somebody actually proposed to me. Somebody actually like wants to be with me. So to be fair, I can see why she probably has now changed attitude to what it was, to making it even worse, where now she has this complex of being, you know, I'm better than everybody else. So to be fair, the person that pointed that out, they have made a very good point. But this one's interesting though, because this one here is regarding Michael, you see, because this person came out and said, my take on Michael has former, but always in my heart, fat girl. My take as a former fat girl. All of us fat girls have had a relationship like this. You like the guy, and the guy actually likes you too. You spend time together, and sometimes it almost seems maybe be about to head into something more. A little more serious flirting, though it gets laughed off as a joke. Ha ha ha. Wouldn't that be so funny? Physical intimacy like hugs, snuggles, that lasts a little long. Maybe even a kiss. Ha ha, see you tomorrow, girl. But he would never, ever date you for real because you are a fat girl. What would people say? What would it say about him that he really likes a fat girl? So, he keeps hanging out because he really loves her company. She's smart and cool. Keeps her interested with these jokey flirts. And when she gets actual interest from an actual suitor, he gets hurt, mad, scared that he's going to lose the intimate company of this girl he really, really likes. He says shitty shit about her new guy, says shitty shit to her about herself. But really, it's mostly mad that he doesn't have the balls to date the fat girl that he really likes. And he's so jealous and resentful that someone else will. If you've ever been there, girls, you know what? Listen, let me play something, folks. Okay, that was a long read, but listen. Everything that this person is saying is 1000% more likely to be correct. I'm not going to contest it. Not going to contest what's being said. But I'm going to say that I don't believe it necessarily relates to Michael. Why? Because you see, Laura started off the season by letting us know that if she decides to be with Burkhan, she's going to cut Michael off. That's what she said. But then literally just before flying to Turkey, she then made her advances towards Michael. She said to him, listen, I want to be with you, but it's just you that doesn't want to be with me. And he said, yeah, I just don't want to be with you. Okay, she said that before she flew over to Turkey, right? Then she flies over to Turkey. And then while she was in Turkey, what was she doing? She was contacting Michael and letting him know all of her business. Saying Burkhan just did this or blah, 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 blah. Then Michael said, I'm going to come and see you. She said, I don't think it's a good idea, but then still let him do it anyway. Then he arrived, and what happened? She then made sure that Burkhan and Michael met, And also, wanted to see if Michael had any opinions, blah, 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 blah. The point that I'm making is that Laura made sure that Michael was involved in this relationship. She made sure that he was around when she met Burkhan. Because you see, Laura wanted to use Burkhan, in my humble opinion, to originally use him to get Michael jealous. She thought Burkhan was going to be the kind of guy that's going to make Michael finally change his mind about her and actually want to be with her. She truly wants Michael. That doesn't change. But Michael just never wanted her. So she used Burkhan as a pawn in her game. But it didn't work. Because even when Michael flew over to Turkey, and then him and Burkhan finally had that one-on-one conversation, what happened? Burkhan said to Michael, I know you want Laura, that's why you flew here. But then Michael said, no, Laura tried to be with me, but I rejected her. If I wanted to be with her, I would have been with her. Now, of course, in that moment in time, some of us may sit there and say that maybe Michael said that because you're trying to throw a wedge within Laura and Burkhan. Or he was saying it because he just wanted to be honest. We'll never know his true intention behind it, yes? But even after that, what happened? Burkhan had a choice at this moment in time to now say, you know what, Laura, screw you, I'm done. But no, he decided to stick around and still have her around, all right? And that is down to him. Now, if I was Laura in this conversation, now you now know that Burkhan knows about this thing, but Burkhan still wants to keep you around. If you ask me, it means that he may potentially be using you for a green card, potentially, right? But at the same time, you keeping him around, even though you know he knows this, it's clearly also showing us that you're just desperate for somebody to just put a ring in your bloody finger. Also to the point that when Burkhan even proposed to Laura, he didn't even give her a ring on the day that he proposed to her. He just said, I just want to marry you. She said, okay, sure. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. So as much as this person's made a very good point, I don't feel like this point is relatable to this current situation. I think there's been 3 people and 2 of them were just doing a whole ruckus. And those 2, in my opinion, personally, was mostly Laura, definitely being the one doing the most ruckus, and 2, Burkhan. Michael, I guess in the end said, you know what, I'm out. And he's done. But, you never know though. Maybe he truly just didn't want to be with Laura because maybe she was a fat girl. But let's not forget though, Michael said that when I first met you, Laura, you was engaged. No, he said I met you in the same position that I left you. And I believe what he said at the time was that I met you when you was engaged and it didn't work out. Now look where we are now. You're engaged again. And what's going on? Listen, let's be real. Maybe there's many other things about her that's just very irritating that he said, you know what, it's just a red flag for me. You're okay to be a friend with, but you're not okay to be with. Because let's be real, she is a walking red flag in many ways. But either way though, let me know your thoughts on that one. But there's also one more. Laura's new kind of delusional. I told you folks, people have not been happy with Laura, people have not been happy with Emma, and that's why there are so many threads, but I won't lie to you folks, Laura's the one that's definitely being disliked the most right now. The amount of threads about her was crazy. I had about 10 listed out, I had to cut them all down, you know what I mean? And I said, you know what, let me pick out these 3, and let me pick out these 3 for you. You know what I mean? Like, but let's get into this one here. This person says, does Laura seriously want us to believe that she's going back to Turkey for skin removal surgery? Isn't one of the requirements for that surgery that you are at or close to your goal weight and have maintained it for a period of time? Well, buddy, this is why she's going to Turkey, because those rules don't apply. If she was doing it in America, those rules would apply. If she was doing it in the UK, those rules would apply. But if you're going to Turkey, they just want your money. That's why you see all these people like the Darcys and Stacys and the Shekinahs, they go to Turkey because they know that if they try and do it in the States, it's not the fact that they can't afford it. They just know they'll be rejected. Okay, in Turkey, the land of Darcy and Stacey repeat surgeries. They don't have the requirement, but personally, I think she's just fooling herself. I was actually on her side before the tell-all, but I really didn't like how her personality came across. You know what though, let's call a spade a spade. I don't think Laura's getting a surgery anytime soon. I just think it's a bunch of nonsense. She's one of those people who's a procrastinator. She's one of those people that's probably been saying for the last 10 to 50, maybe 20, maybe 30 years that I'm going to lose some weight, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then she never actually does it. Let's call a spade a spade. I would argue and say that before Michael even met Laura, she may have been even bigger. She probably lost weight while she was with Michael because Michael was always doing activity things with her. And then obviously now we know that Michael and her are no longer buddies anymore. It looks like, and it seems as if the weight has now come back. So let's be real. Is she somebody that's gonna really get this surgery? I don't know. I don't know if I believe it's gonna happen. And also now she went from Michael, somebody that was done things with her, to now Burkhan, who doesn't really care about how she looks. Let's do the maths. And also on top of that, most importantly, even though Burkhan claimed that he's now cleared his 50k debt, it's going to cost money for Laura to have this surgery. And if anything, Burkhan's probably not going to want Laura to use the money to get surgery. He's probably going to want her to keep that money around for himself in some format. Let's just let that one sink in. Continues by saying, like a know-it-all, a mean girl, and smug. See, everybody's calling a mean girl. Not someone you really want to root for. Yeah, root first the one. Anyway, and sorry Laura, but it's pretty obvious you gained a considerable amount of weight back since we saw you in Turkey for the surgical consultation. I think doing surgery wouldn't be advised, at least in the United States. I have a feeling that she's let her newfound reality fame go to a head. Just like many have. It seems like she treated her bestie Michael with disdain. Gives Burkhan every benefit of doubt because she thinks that she's some kind of sexy. She thinks he's some kind of sexy guy and isn't being honest with herself when she looks in the mirror. Hate to tell you, Laura, Michael helped you stay slim, which with his encouragement and whatever else that was meant to be put there. I mean, listen, ladies and gentlemen, do what you will with the information that you have here, but I want to know, most importantly, is that what rants do you have for Emma? What rants do you have for Laura? And what rants do you have for anybody else who knocked you off at the tell-all? Now remember, part 2 is coming out this Sunday. The review will be here on the Monday, so subscribe and make sure you're here for that. But either way though, let me know. I'm looking forward to your movie mad comments. Maybe some of you say some reality ready stuff too. With that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe and hype the video. Thank you so much and have a great freaking day.